The Carolina Panthers are not a very good football team. In fact, they are one of the lowest rated teams in Madden 25, despite the fact that you have a few key players that you could actually build this franchise around, like Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, Taylor Moton, Chuba Hubbard, Robert Hunt, Xavier Legette, and then Bryce Young. I still think in Madden at least, you'd be able to turn his career around and kind of save it. So with that all being said, what we are going to do here is take the Carolina Panthers and completely throw them in the trash. I now introduce to you the Toronto Thunderbirds. And when I say throw it in the trash, I mean we are throwing everything away. I have released every single player on this team. We're going to rebuild this team from the very ground up. And we will begin doing that with the NFL Draft, where we have been handed the #1 overall pick. We do not have our own second round pick because the Panthers did trade that one away, but we do have the Rams second round pick. We will then have a third, a fourth, 2 fifth round picks, a 6th round pick, and 2 7th round picks in this draft, barring any other trades that I decide to make. And I am definitely not going to be ruling out trades in this very first draft. I will be using the #1 overall pick, but past that, I could trade all of these picks away to try to get more picks for later in the draft or even next year. This team is going to need a ton of help. Before we get too far into this video though, I want to go over the rules of exactly how I'm going to be rebuilding this team, at least for the first season. Obviously, like I have already stated, we will begin with the NFL Draft, but following that, I can only fill out the rest of the team with undrafted free agents and veterans under a 70 overall. Those higher rated free agents are not going to want to come here because this is not going to be a very good team for at least the first few seasons. So hopefully we can turn that around quickly and eventually start bringing in some of those veteran guys, but in season 1 that is definitely not going to be happening. Now for how the games are going to be played in this series, I have done series like this in the past on my channel, and I will not actually be playing any of these games. They will be Super Sim, and when we jump in, it will be Slow Sim, where we will jump in on certain scenarios, or later on in the series we will watch a large chunk of the games, maybe 2 or 3 an episode, but that is how I plan to do all of the games in this series. So if you're looking for someone that's going to be playing the games, that's not really what I do a lot of the time, because I really like to build the team and let the computer control it and see exactly how good of a team we have built. For the settings of these games, at least at the start of the series, I will be doing an all-pro simulation style default slider set. I really feel like it plays okay on that. If I really feel like we need to go find a slider set, I will, but we will be starting with 11-minute quarters and 17 seconds on the accelerated clock. Aside from that, a lot of the other settings are going to stay mostly the same here. There are a few things that I have changed, like the free agent motivation impact I have changed to high just because I feel like that's a lot more realistic on what free agents you will see and how realistically they are going to sign anywhere else. I have turned off practice squad stealing because in my experience with Madden, it's kind of a broken mechanic. People will sign players off your practice squad and then immediately cut them or cut them a week later, which I understand happens in the NFL. It's just kind of annoying to deal with in franchise because they don't actually use your guys. If they actually use them, that would be cool, but they just don't. So I've turned that off. And then finally, the setting that I feel like everyone needs to turn off because it's a completely broken mechanic is progressive fatigue. Now, finally, before we jump into the draft to officially kick off this franchise, I want to go over where a bunch of our key players from the Carolina Panthers ended up signing. To start with, there are 2 players that I could not find on a team, and I can actually not look at the list of free agents right now, so I imagine that is where they are currently sitting, but it is safety Xavier Woods and middle linebacker Shaq Thompson. Neither one of them are currently on a team. I imagine they will be on one by the start of the regular season, and if I remember to, I will go try to find them. The first player I wanted to go find was quarterback Bryce Young, and he is now a member of the Minnesota Vikings, and very well may be the starter over J.J. McCarthy. Next up is wide receiver Xavier Legette, and he is signed with the Cincinnati Bengals, and honestly, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Xavier Legette is a terrifying trio of receivers. Robert Hunt has decided he is going to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he is not the only one to sign with Tampa Bay, but we will get back to that here in just a minute, because the next player is running back Chuba Hubbard, and we jump back over to Cincinnati because that is where he has signed to be their new starting running back. We ended up having a couple players sign with Tennessee, starting with right tackle Taylor Moton. He will be their new starting right tackle, and defensive back J.C. Horn, and now that cornerback room looks really solid for Tennessee. And finally, the highest rated player on our team, defensive end Derek Brown, has signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bucs end up with Derek Brown and Robert Hunt, the Titans end up with Horn and Moton, the Bengals end up with Hubbard and Liggett, and the Minnesota Vikings get Bryce Young. Those are really just the higher rated players, or the players that I felt like it was important enough to know where they went. I figured you guys would like to know that as well. But now we can finally prepare for the NFL draft. We honestly do not have a lot of the people in this class scouted that well. The one thing we do have pretty well scouted though is the early quarterback spots, and that is really what we needed to know. In fact, we have every single quarterback 100% scouted, so we should be able to make our decision and hopefully make the correct one for the course of our franchise. There are several quarterbacks who have the talent grade of round 1 to 2, but there was only one that has just a straight up talent grade of round 1, and that is quarterback Ben Richardson, who is projected to go inside the top 5. And let's see what he's going to have. Elite throw power, great acceleration, good speed, great strength. And then over here, he has a beautiful spiral on all of his passes. Could use some improvement at recognizing pressure, a little bit concerning there. Does well to avoid sacks by throwing the ball away. Plays well within and outside of the pocket. And has a slow, elongated throwing motion. And for his skills, he has A awareness, A break sack, B carrying, A injury, A juke move, A short accuracy, B deep accuracy, but C medium accuracy, but A throw on the run and throwing under pressure. And he is the only quarterback with an A awareness rating, so I'm pretty sure that just made our decision for us as to who we are taking. He's also one of the only ones, if not the only one, with A throw on the run. Several have A throw under pressure, but all of his other ratings just kind of outweigh everything else here. So I'm pretty sure with the number 1 pick, we're going to take quarterback Ben Richardson out of Notre Dame. And I know I am not going to take it, but what would be the offers we get for the number 1 pick? Obviously, I would not want to fall back too far. So far, the highest one is pick number 7. Green Bay would only let us fall back 6 spots. The Giants would only let us fall back 4 spots, but I'm pretty sure they would trade up and take a quarterback. So let's go ahead and just take our player and try to build our franchise from the ground up. Scroll right to quarterback Ben Richardson. Go ahead and pack your bags because you are moving from South Bend, Indiana, all the way to Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Ben Richardson, you are officially a Thunderbird, number 12 in true value, and we drafted him at number 1, and he is going to be a hidden depth trait, thankfully. Now, the only thing that kind of sucks is we do not have that pick to start the second round, and we don't pick again until the end of the second round with pick number 26, so let's go ahead and jump all the way there and maybe end up trading this pick away. We'll see who's available on the board, though. And you know, I really thought I was going to end up trading this pick away, but how about we end up taking middle linebacker Tracy Wilcox out of University of Southern Florida. He's going to come in with great speed, solid acceleration, and then he has A awareness, B block shed, B catching, B play rec, A to B zone coverage, B tackle, C pursuit, B hit power. How about we just sit here and take our defensive captain, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And he is going to come in number 40 in true value. We drafted him at 58, and Wilcox will be a hidden depth trait for us. Just a few picks later, we do have the very first pick in the 3rd round, but no one is really offering us picks for this season. It's mostly picks for next year, and honestly, I'm not really concerned about draft picks for next year too much, so we may not end up trading too much in this draft. And with that pick, I believe we're going to take Austin Acosta, an outside linebacker out of Miami, 22 years old. He is going to come in with great speed and great acceleration, an elite change of direction. He has A awareness, A man coverage, A tackle, A zone coverage, B play rec, A pursuit. Yeah, Acosta, welcome to Toronto. Please be another hidden depth trait guy. 53 in true value, took him at 65, and he will be another hidden depth trait for us. So far, we are 3 of 3. And we're now at the point in the draft where I feel like it's kind of just a crapshoot here. So we're going to take defensive back Jaleel Torrance out of Miami. So another guy that's coming out of Miami. He's going to come in, let's see, with C man coverage, C play rec, B press, C catching, B tackle, D zone coverage, which is not great, but great speed and great acceleration. And how tall is he? 6'3", 182 pounds. Yeah, you're coming to Toronto, and he's going to be 78 in true value and another hidden depth trait. With our next pick at the start of the 5th round, we're going to come all the way down here and take wide receiver Kamani Wallace out of Penn. He is 6'5", 222 pounds. He has good speed, solid acceleration, ran a 4.43 at the combine and a 4.39 at his pro day. He doesn't have a ton of just great stats, but does have V release and then a spectacular catch. In the 5th round, you were just looking for stuff that you can actually build, and that's exactly what I'm trying here. So Kamani Wallace is going to be coming to Toronto, and that's close to where we drafted him. Number 134 in true value, took him at 129, and he will be a normal dev trade. Just a few picks later, we have the 5th pick here in the 5th round. We're going to take Gerald Barclay out of UConn. 6'7", 309 pounds, cannot run block to save his life, but does have A awareness, B to D impact blocking, and B pass block, along with decent strength. So he is going to be coming to Toronto as well, and he is going to be 197 in true value. I at least wanted to draft one offensive lineman so I didn't completely murder our quarterback. And let's see, is he going to be a hidden depth trait? No, he is not. In round number 6, we're going to take another defensive player. Defensive end Brian Brown out of Western Michigan. Let's see what he's going to have. Good speed, good acceleration, good change of direction. And then in skills, he has B awareness, C block shed, C play rec, C power move, B finesse, D tackle, which is a little bit concerning. But let's just go ahead and take Brian Brown, and hopefully he's not completely awful. 192 in true value and a normal dev trade. All right, so the back half of the draft not going near as well as the first. Just a quick reminder before I make this pick, we actually have 2 7th round picks, one at 24 and then one at 28. And with the 24th pick in the 7th round, we're going to take wide receiver Kyrie Smith out of Purdue, 21 years old, C catching, C deep route, and B release. He also ran a 4.46 at the combine and a 4.42 at his pro day. So Kyrie Smith will be coming to Toronto, 183 in true value, drafted him at 216, and will be a normal dev trade. And now with our final pick here in this draft, we're going to take outside linebacker Sean Chason out of West Virginia, a 23-year-old. He's not going to burn the world down with his speed, decent acceleration, decent agility, and change of direction. Then he's got C to F awareness, C block shed, D finesse move, A hit power, C man coverage, and A tackle. The A hit power and the A tackle are the main reasons I am taking him here. He is projected to go undrafted, but let's just go ahead and guarantee that we can get him on our team. And he is going to come in ranked number 172 in true value and will be a normal dev trade. We now officially have the first 9 members of the Toronto Thunderbirds. Ben Richardson is a 75 overall quarterback for us. We got a 73 overall middle linebacker, a 72 overall right outside linebacker, a 71 overall corner, a 67 overall receiver, a 66 overall left tackle, a 66 overall defensive end, a 66 overall receiver, and then a 66 overall outside linebacker. So probably not the best draft I've ever had, but I feel like it was at least a pretty solid one. Who was the highest rated player in the draft? Obviously, if it's not Ben Richardson, which I don't think it is going to be running back Austin Bell out of, I can't even tell, Clemson, a 79 overall that goes to Dallas. Obviously, we passed up on him, but I would have only been able to take him with the number 1 pick because we did not actually own our own 2nd round pick. The next part of this is to go through all of the free agents and sign any undrafted free agents that I want and any veterans under a 70 overall like I stated earlier, but I am not going to sit here and show you guys that whole process. So now just allow me to introduce you to the team. Starting with our quarterback room, obviously we have Ben Richardson, who we just took with the number 1 overall pick. His backup will be Joe Flacco. The main reason I brought him in is because of that mentor player tag. And then the 3rd string quarterback will be undrafted free agent Greg Britton, who will come in as a 59 overall. So hopefully we don't have to use him too much. Moving on to our running back room, it is only going to be undrafted free agents right now. And we start with running back Keelan Wayne, who is a 64 overall. Then we have Alex Winston, and we have Alex Zimmerman. And then finally, we have running back Caleb Hairston. You will hopefully get to see all of these guys try to see what they can do in the preseason. At wide receiver, you can see that I signed a lot of people, and there are only 3 veterans here in this room, and those are going to be Allen Robinson, Colin Johnson, and then all the way down here, we have Tyquan Thornton, just to have a little bit of more veteran experience in the room. The rest of these guys will all be undrafted free agents, including wide receiver Dimitri Cox, who was already a 70 overall. These guys were both under 70, but some sort of boost is putting them at 70. Then we have Tyler Andrews, Aaron Williams, who was actually projected to go in rounds like 1 to 2, somewhere in that area, and he completely fell undrafted, so I figured I would give him a chance. Then we have wide receiver David Lindley, who is a 69. Then we move down to our 2 draft picks in Kamani Wallace and Kyrie Smith. Then we have Kyle Hanna, who ran a 40 time in the 4.2s. I almost took him in the 7th round instead of Kyrie Smith, but he unfortunately fell undrafted, so we get to have him. Then we have Matt Skandrick, and then we round that out with Marion McMillan, who is a 64 overall, but the main reason I brought this guy in is because he is a star dev trade already. Moving on to our tight end position, I have brought in 2 veterans. One of them is Justin Shorter, and the other one is Braden Willis. If you guys watched my Oklahoma City Bison's relocation rebuild last season, you guys know that I turned Braden Willis into like a superstar tight end. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this time, but I'm definitely going to try. And then we got 2 undrafted free agents, and Maurice Underwood and Brandon Wilbon. At left tackle, Jared Barclay is here as our starter right now. He was one of our draft picks, and then we brought in Devin Roten and Taquan Myers, 2 more undrafted free agents. Now, the rest of our offensive line is entirely made up of veterans and undrafted free agents. So moving to left guard, we have Leo Collins, who will start as a 69 overall. Then we brought in Nathan Crawford and George Pope, 2 undrafted guys. At center, we brought in a veteran in Cade Mays, and then 2 undrafted free agents in Jason Harris and Pete Beretta. At right guard, another veteran for us is going to be Gabe Jackson, but we also brought in Phil Haynes, and then an undrafted free agent in Felix Ware. Finally, to round out the offensive line, we brought in a 67 overall Kendall Lamb to be our right tackle, and 2 undrafted free agents in James Chambers and Ralph Havenstein. Moving over to the defense now, one of our undrafted guys is actually higher rated than one of the guys we drafted right now. John Rodriguez, an undrafted free agent, comes in at a 67 overall. Then we have Brian Brown at a 66, and we have TikTok star Isaac Rochelle. I brought him in just for fun. I honestly don't know if he will make the team or not, but as of right now, he is going to be on here. At the other defensive end spot, we brought in Adam Butler, who is a veteran, and Devontae Bond. I'm not even going to lie to you guys, I am an Oklahoma Sooners fan, so I did go through most of the positions trying to find old Sooners, and I found one here with Bond. Once again, don't know if he's going to make the team, but I also brought in 2 undrafted free agents, one of them Jonathan Montague, and then George Pritchett. There were not a ton of undrafted defensive tackles for me to really pick from or had any, solid attributes to start, so I brought in 3 veterans here, and those are going to be Marcus Harris, Tyler Shelvin, and Neil Farrell, and then the undrafted free agent defensive tackle we brought in is Devontae Browning. Jumping over to linebackers, we have Sean Chason, who was our final pick in the draft. Backing him up will be a veteran in Jake Hansen, and then an undrafted free agent in Taj Poole. On the other side, right outside linebacker, we start with Austin Acosta, who was our 3rd round pick, a 72 overall. He'll be backed up by Amari Barno, a veteran, and an undrafted free agent in Randy Ferguson. Then we have our defensive captain, Tracy Wilcox, who will come in as a 73 overall middle linebacker. He'll be backed up by Tony Fields and Enrique McLeod. So Fields is obviously a veteran guy, and then McLeod is an undrafted rookie. We now have our 4th round pick, Jaleel Torrance, here at corner, a 71 overall. I am really excited to get him. Then we have Troy Fry Jr., and we have Zach McPherson. I believe those are the only 2 veterans I signed at corner. Everyone else is an undrafted free agent. We have Frank Ware, Derek Lipton, Shaq Wolf, Josh Hatchett, and Justin Venable. And I will try to show you guys later, but just so you're aware, Shaq Wolf and Frank Ware are both already a star dev trait. The only thing that really concerns me with Wolf is that 87 speed. That is not good by any means. To the next part of the secondary, we jump to free safety, which will be led by MJ Stewart Jr., who is a 68 overall veteran, and then 2 undrafted guys in Jeff Clements and Chris Jones. Strong safety was another position that really did not have a lot of good undrafted guys available, so I brought in 2 veterans. One is Caden Stearns, the other is Will Harris, and then we have 1 undrafted guy in Trent Stockton. Our kicker is going to be Sam Haynes, who seems to have a decent kick power, but that kick accuracy does concern me just a bit. And finally, there were not any undrafted punters that were worth signing, if there were any at all, really, now that I'm looking back and trying to remember. But I decided to bring in a lower rated veteran in Lou Headley, who is a 66 overall. Those will be the 75 players we are starting this franchise with. Obviously, in just a few games at the end of the preseason, we will have to cut that all the way down to 53, but as of right now, we are a 67 overall team, a 67 overall offense, and a 68 overall defense. Very clearly, we're not going to be a very competitive team this year. I am not going to sit here and do all of the training camp drills, but I will do a handful of them. Honestly, I'm not very good at these, so I don't like to spend just a ton of time on them. So I will at least do a few of the offensive ones. I am absolutely awful at the defensive ones, so probably won't even touch those. Alright, and I may have lied to you guys a bit because I ended up doing a couple of the defensive drills for Tracy Wilcox and Austin Acosta, but everyone else I used was quarterback Ben Richardson, wide receiver Dimitri Cox, and wide receiver Kyrie Smith, along with running back Keelan Wayne. Now, Wilcox and Acosta both have 2 upgrade points, so we're going to start with the field general perk here. We're going to get him to a 75, and if this works like the last Madden, if he is a superstar dev trait, then it will actually show us that he gains an ability slot here at 75 overall. And does he get that? There are several things here, and no. So it looks like he will be a star dev trait unless they've actually patched that. And then unfortunately for Austin Acosta, we don't even have the option to get him to a 75 right now, so we'll upgrade his pass coverage a couple times. He gets a nice boost there, and now he's up to a 74 overall at his base, getting +1 to man coverage and +3 to zone coverage. The reason I used wide receiver Dimitri Cox in an upgrade drill instead of one of the receivers that we drafted, because we drafted 2 receivers, that would be Kamani Wallace and Kyrie Smith. I used Kyrie Smith, but Dimitri Cox is a 70 overall, and I want to get that as high as possible, so he's going to go up to a 71, making him, I believe, the highest, well, he was already the highest undrafted free agent we had, but getting +1 to awareness, catching traffic, deep route, juke move, release, and then 2 to short route and medium route running. Next up is one of the guys that we drafted. This was the player we drafted, I believe, in the 7th round. Wide receiver Kyrie Smith. We're going to up his deep threat because I think that's going to be the main thing with him. He gets +1 to ball carrier vision, catching traffic, catching deep route, and 2 to his release. As of right now, I would say Keelan Wayne is probably the favorite to be our main running back this year, just because he is now a 65 overall with his upgrade, and he is getting +1 to awareness and 3 to juke move. And the final player that we will be upgrading, franchise quarterback Ben Richardson, or at least I hope he is a franchise quarterback. We are going to be upping his field general because that is our scheme fit. Goes up to a 76. He's actually almost ready for another upgrade point, but he's going to get +1 to awareness, 2 to throw accuracy mid, and 1 to throw under pressure. But our very first preseason game, we'll be going on the road to Everbank Stadium to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really don't know how much of this game we're going to end up watching, or any of the preseason games. It's going to be kind of a game by feel thing, but I do want to see some of these undrafted players and see if they can actually do anything, but I also need to see if they can do anything in simulation. Rookie quarterback Ben Richardson might get a lot of playing time in the preseason just because I really want to get him upgraded as fast as possible. I also want to see Greg Britton play just in case Richardson goes down. We're probably not going to see too much of Joe Flacco just because I know what this man is. A 67 overall in his 18th season at this point, most likely will retire after this year. He is only on the team for that mentor player tag to up these two's XP every week. I said running back Keelan Wayne was probably the favorite to win the job just because of his overall, but that does not mean he is guaranteed the starting job. We will most likely see a bit of every single one of these running backs. Wide receiver is one of those positions that I have just a ton of guys on the roster, so I will be trying to switch it around quite a bit to figure out who can do anything. I would say the only ones that are really safe to make the roster are like wide receiver Dimitri Cox, and then the 2 guys that we drafted that aren't even in the top 6 right now, in Kamani Wallace and Kyrie Smith. Both of those guys will make it down here, and Dimitri Cox is most likely safe just because he is a 71 overall. Over at tight end, there is not really much of a position battle because Justin Shorter will be the starter, followed by Braden Willis and then Maurice Underwood. I'll change around a bit of these just to see if anyone can do anything, but most likely our main tight ends for at least the first season will be Shorter and Willis. I honestly don't think there is going to be a position battle along the offensive line just because ratings are the main thing at every position here, and most of these linemen are just going to be the higher rated guys and probably get the start. If they start playing horrible though, they could potentially just, lose their starting job, but I don't really expect to have to play the backups too much this season barring injuries. Along the defensive line, we will try to change out some of these guys to see if they can do anything. I don't generally watch a lot of defense, especially in the preseasons, but I do want to see what some of these guys can do, like John Rodriguez. Then at right end, we will be starting Adam Butler, and defensive tackle will be Marcus Harris and Tyler Shelvin. The left outside linebacker spot is the only position in the linebacking unit that will be up for grabs between Sean Chason, our 7th round pick, and our veteran backup Jake Hansen, just because their ratings are really similar here, and I want to put the best player on the field. But middle linebacker, the best player is going to be Tracy Wilcox, so he will be the starter there. And at right outside linebacker will be Austin Acosta. Clearly, these two guys are just better than anyone else we can put in these spots. I am fully expecting to have to make a ton of changes at corner as the season goes, but Jaleel Torrance will most likely stay our number one the entire year with 93 speed, 73 man coverage, 71 play rec. He was our 4th round pick, and I feel like I really hit on that. The rest of the corner spots, yeah, like I said, will be up for grabs a large chunk of the season. I kind of want to have a position battle for our safeties, but there's really no one that can compete with the two guys that we have up here. MJ Stewart Jr. will most likely end up as our starting free safety, and our starting strong safety, I guess there is going to be a competition here between Will Harris and Caden Stearns. They're both a 69 overall, but that awareness is a little bit higher for Harris. And the play rec, what about the zone coverage? That one goes to Caden Stearns. So yeah, I really have no idea how that's going to go. For the specialty positions over on offense, our 3rd down back is going to be Caleb Hairston. Our power back for right now will be Alex Winston. Our slot receiver currently is going to be Kyrie Smith. This is another position that will be probably changing a lot as the preseason and regular season goes. Just trying to figure out who is going to be the best fit here. Austin Acosta is actually one of our better pass rushers, despite the fact that he is listed as a pass cover outside linebacker. So it's not really great to see, but he will be our rushing left end. Our rushing right end will be Brian Brown, and then our rushing defensive tackle will be Marcus Harris and Isaac Rochelle. Then our sub linebacker obviously is going to be Tracy Wilcox, and our slot corner is another position that will most likely be changing a lot as we go, but for right now, it's going to be undrafted free agent Frank Ware. I honestly don't know how the returner situation is going to set up. I'm going to wait to decide that after the 53-man roster is decided, because I don't want to just give someone a roster spot because they're a solid returner. I don't think we're a good enough team to really be doing that right now. But now it is time to finally jump into our very first preseason game of the Toronto Thunderbirds franchise. And it does appear we will be getting the ball first here as they send it deep. I honestly don't know who is back to return right now, and I'll try to learn as we go. It is going to be number 80, and he's across the 25 and all the way to the almost 40-yard line. That was undrafted receiver Matt Scandrick, so I guess he's off to a hot start here, but let's see how Ben Richardson does on his first pass attempt going downfield. He finds his man for the first down. That was number 87, so it is Colin Johnson. Now on 1st and 10 from the 49, Richardson back in shotgun again. A quick throw to the outside will be caught for a very short gain of only 1 yard. That ended up being Justin Shorter, our number 1 tight end for right now. On 2nd and 9, we'll give it to Keelan Wayne up the middle for the first down carry. That is going to bring up an I formation. Now our other running back comes in the game. I will check on the number here in just a minute, but on 1st and 10, we give it to him up the middle, and that is just going to be a gain of a yard. That one was number 33, so it was Caleb Hairston on the carry. Now on a 2nd and 9, Richardson will drop back to pass, going downfield. He finds his man for a gain of a few yards. And I honestly could not see the number that time, so I have no idea who it was. But on 3rd and 4 to keep the drive moving, Richardson is going to get sacked on the play by Josh Hines-Allen. So that will bring out our undrafted kicker in Sam Haynes for a 50-yard try. The kick is away, and this one will be no good. We will at least watch our very first defensive drive here as they go to ETN up the middle, and he is met and brought down by 55, which I believe is going to be Tracy Wilcox. I took a guess and I was wrong. That was Austin Acosta. Now on 2nd and 8, they go back to ETN, and he breaks that tackle and end up with the first down carry. On the very next play, they would give it back to their running back, who would get it to the 45 to set up a 2nd and 7. Now Lawrence from under center, and that is a hit in the backfield by Austin Acosta. So that's going to set up a 3rd and 10 now for Jacksonville. Lawrence is back in shotgun again. ETN still in the backfield. Letting the clock run down just a bit, he will look to pass, and he's going to lob this one deep downfield. There is a man in coverage, and that's going to be knocked away. In the coverage on that was Troy Pride Jr., so now the punt will be sent deep, and Toronto's going to get to take over at the 26. Let's go ahead and watch one more offensive possession here. Ben Richardson back in shotgun. Will take the snap and look to pass. He's going to fire this one deep downfield. It's a wobbly ball, and it will fall incomplete. Intended for number 88, which is still going to be Justin Shorter. Now 2nd and 10. Out of a shotgun set, they hand it off up the middle, and I believe that's going to be Hairston all the way to about the 33 to set up a 3rd and 3. Ben Richardson back in a shotgun set again, with Hairston still in the backfield. And that's where we go with it, to the outside, and Caleb Hairston will have the first down. Now it looks like backup running back Alex Winston has checked into the game here at running back. So from the 39, we'll send the man in motion, take the snap, and it's going to be a play fake to him. Richardson going deep downfield will not find his man. It was intended for Braden Willis. That is going to set up a 2nd and 10 now for Toronto with a 5 wide set. Richardson will drop back to pass, standing in the pocket, dropping farther back, going over the middle. He finds his man, and that's going to be Allen Robinson to set up a 3rd and 1. The veteran receiver making his first catch of the preseason. Now we come back in shotgun again. Keelan Wayne is in the backfield, and that's where we go with it. Wayne to the outside, has the first down, and more to the edge, breaking tackles and getting forced out of the 43. Ben Richardson back in shotgun again. It looks like Caleb Hairston is back in at running back, and that's where we go with it. He goes up the middle and will be met and brought down for no gain. They actually lose a yard. Now we face a 2nd and 11 with a 5-wide set. Obviously, we will be looking to pass. Richardson will drop back, looking to go downfield, goes deep over the middle and barely misses his target to bring up a 3rd down. Keelan Wayne will check in at running back here from the 44-yard line. Richardson looking to convert and keep the drive moving. Rolling to the outside. Needs to get rid of it. Richardson's going to take off and get nowhere near the marker. That brings up a 4th and 9, and we should punt it away. We are going to jump a little bit later into the game now in the 2nd quarter. Carson Wentz is in at quarterback for Jacksonville. So from the 12-yard line, he's going to send a man in motion. He will be looking to pass here. He's going to go over the middle. He finds his man, and he will dive into the end zone. I believe that's going to be Devin Duvernay. Touchdown, Jacksonville. I have changed around pretty much everything except our quarterback. I still want to see more of Ben Richardson, and he is getting sacked on this play. Maybe the backup offensive line isn't such a great idea. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and keep it. He comes back in pistol. He will drop back to pass. Going deep downfield, he finds his man for the 1st down. And that was Marion McMillan, the undrafted receiver that is a star dev trait right now. So now Ben Richardson will come back in shotgun under quick pressure and brought down immediately. We did not pick up that blitz at all. That brings up a 2nd and 10 now from the 42-yard line. And we're going to give this one to Zimmerman to the outside, and Alex Zimmerman with a 1st down carry if I can talk. Zimmerman still in the backfield. Do we go back to him? No, we don't. It's a play fake, and Richardson's getting killed. From our own 45-yard line, we're going to send our fullback in motion. Take the snap, and we're going to give this one to Zimmerman to the outside, and he will be met and brought down for a 1-yard carry to bring up a 3rd and 17. And with a 5-wide set, this should be a good chance for one of the receivers to show what they can do. Richardson will drop back, needing the protection. He's got some. Now he's going to let this one go deep downfield. That's into coverage, and that one will be knocked away, and he had a chance to catch that. In case you were wondering, that was Tyler Andrews, an undrafted receiver that he was trying to hit. Now the punt will be sent deep, and that's going to bounce at about the 25-yard line. Bounce past the returner. He feels it and gets shoved out. Jumping ahead just a little bit more, right near the end of the first half, it is 14-0, but we are at the 10-yard line looking for our franchise's first touchdown, even if it is the preseason, and it's going to get intercepted. Tried to force it over the middle, and that's how that drive is going to end. Going into the 4th quarter, I have kept quarterback Ben Richardson in the game for now, and he has gotten us down to the 16-yard line, so can we end this drive in a touchdown and not a turnover? In a shotgun set, he's going to send a running back in motion. He will take the snap and look to go downfield. He steps up in the pocket. Richardson's going to run inside the 10 and slide down to the 8-yard line. I do love to see our quarterback is at least smart enough to slide. Now on 2nd and 3, he's going to the end zone, and he finds his man. Touchdown to Tyler Andrews. And here comes our franchise's first extra point. The kick is away, and it is good. Now we jump ahead to the end of this game where the final score was 21-7. After that touchdown, I did pull Ben Richardson, so our backup quarterback came in and threw at least 2 interceptions, so he did not have a very good debut. For the Thunderbirds, Ben Richardson went 13 of 20 for 146 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Greg Britton, 9 of 15 for 91 yards, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Running the ball, it looks like per carry, Alex Zimmerman was pretty good, getting 5 yards a carry. Ben Richardson also came away with 5, but we did see Keelan Wayne with a couple really good runs. He only got 2 carries today, but got 20 yards on them, getting 10 yards a carry, so really good for him. Our best receiver was apparently Aaron Williams, the undrafted guy we got out of Texas that was projected to go in the first couple rounds and ended up completely falling out of the draft. Braden Willis also got 4 for 42, but the only one to catch a touchdown was Tyler Andrews, the 95 speed rookie. Over on the defensive side of the ball, Tony Fields got a majority of the tackles with a total of 10. He is the backup middle linebacker, so he ended up playing most of the game. And we got no sacks today, but we do have 1 interception that came from Zach McPherson. For Jacksonville, Carson Wentz went 12 of 19 for 143, 2 touchdowns and a pick. And then their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, for right now, our starting defense, went 3 of 4 for 57 yards. Running the ball, Bigsby got 62 yards and a touchdown. And then receiving, Devin Duvernay, 6 for 83 and 2 touchdowns. Clearly, he was Carson's favorite target today. Unfortunately, following that game, we do have 1 injury, and that is to wide receiver Tyquan Thornton, and he is going to miss the rest of the preseason And that's not really good for him considering he was kind of a bubble guy, does have 95 speed, he's pretty damn tall. For right now, we're not going to put him on IR, but I don't think I'd be able to release him at the end of the preseason if he's still injured. So he may get put on IR at the end of that if I find other receivers that I feel like would be better than him. There are a few players that are getting some upgrades this week. We're going to start with defensive back Jaleel Torrance. We're going to upgrade his slot position here just because I feel like that's the best one to upgrade in Madden, and I feel like it has been for the last few years. But he's going to get +1 to awareness, 2 to man coverage, 1 to pursuit, and 3 to zone coverage. We also get an upgrade for our kicker, Sam Haynes, and because he has 91 kick power and 71 kick accuracy, we're going to go ahead and upgrade that accurate just a bit, and he's going to get +1 to that. And the final upgrade this week will be quarterback Ben Richardson, which once again we're going to go with the field general. He does not get any higher overall, but does get +2 to awareness, 3 to play action, and 1 to throw accuracy mid. We do have our very first scenario here in this franchise, and we should be having a strong safety position battle according to most experts, which stat will determine the winner of the battle between Caden Stearns and Will Harris. I don't want to say there will not be a battle. How about the most tackles? I kind of like that. We'll see what the strong safety does there. Well, it looks like we get another press conference here right into the next thing, so let's see what these guys want to know this time. Time to kick off the season. Well, not yet. We're in the preseason still. Now that we're in the middle of camp, I've got some roster questions for you. Great, I love to get those. About outside linebacker Austin Acosta. Yeah, what about him? I don't know what the question was. I guess we're going to say I want him to improve in play rec. That's what we're going to say. And yeah, your linebacker has been working all camp and received +2 to play rec. I do love to see that for our main pass coverage guy and run stopper. But now we get our very first home game here in Toronto as we take on the Las Vegas Raiders. And I do like to see that we don't get the ball first, but our defense did force a 3-and-out in simulation. Now Ben Richardson will take the field, and I have changed around a bit of the depth chart. We'll see how he does with these receivers, and the first pass is incomplete. That will set up a 2nd and 10 now for Toronto. Richardson will hand this one to Keelan Wayne, who goes to the outside, and Wayne will have a solid run here of about 8 yards. That one will bring up a 3rd and 2. Now Alex Zimmerman will check into the game here at our 3rd down back, and he will motion to the outside. Richardson will draw back to pass, and he's going to lob this one deep downfield for Zimmerman, and that will fall incomplete, so we'll punt it away. And our defense could force another 3-and-out, so we'll watch it this time. Sam Darnold is their quarterback, and he will look to pass. A quick throw to the outside, caught by his man, and that will not be a 3-and-out as they get a 1st down. Later on in the drive, I did not watch it because I figured they would kick a field goal. On a 4th and 3, they went for it, and Jonathan Brooks got stuffed, so we will get to take over. Well, let's see if Richardson can do anything with the receivers this time. 1st and 10 from the 22. Richardson from under center will hand off to Keelan Wayne, who is going to be met in the backfield. Richardson back in shotgun will draw back to pass, looking to go downfield. A quick throw to the outside, caught by Wayne to the edge, and he will get all the way to set up a 3rd and 3 at the 29-yard line. Will we avoid a 3-and-out here? Richardson back in shotgun. Keelan Wayne is the running back. He will draw back to pass and go back to Wayne on the outside, who makes the catch for the 1st down. Now the 35-yard line, we line up under center with Keelan Wayne still in at running back. Richardson will draw back to pass. A quick throw over the middle is going to be caught for the 1st down, and that is number 11, which will be an undrafted receiver in David Lindley. Now a 1st and 10 from the 50. He sends a man in motion. We hand it to that man. He will break that tackle, get to the outside, and he is going to fight for a gain of about 8 yards. That time it's number 16. And that is possibly our number 1 receiver in Dimitri Cox. Now a 2nd and 2. Richardson will draw back a quick throw. He finds Cox on the outside for the 1st down. Now he lines up under center. Keelan Wayne still in at running back, but now we have a fullback back there with him. From the 34, it'll be a handoff to Wayne up the middle for a gain of a couple yards. Now Richardson will come out as the only one in the backfield with a bunch set at the bottom of your screen. From the 32, he will drop back to pass, stand in the pocket. He's under pressure and will finally throw it away. And he was about to meet Max Crosby, and I don't think that would have been well. Now over the middle, and that is going to be dropped by 18. It was a diving attempt at a reception, but that was Aaron Williams. Now for about a 49-yard try from Sam Haynes. He missed a 50-yarder in our last preseason game, but this kick will be good. Then while I was simulating later in the game, Sean Chason came away with a pick. It says for 92 yards, but we're at the 8-yard line, so I'm pretty sure that did not happen. And yeah, we'll start the drive way back here with a 9-yard pass to Aaron Williams. Just a few plays later in the drive, we face a 3rd and 11. out of a shotgun set. Richardson looking to go downfield. He's going to let this one rip, and he may have a man, and it will be underthrown. It was an incredibly deep ball, but it falls incomplete. Tyler Andrews was the intended receiver on that deep ball. Now jumping all the way to about a minute to go in the half. We have a first and goal. A quick pass is caught by Andrews into the end zone. So he is the only one to catch receiving touchdown so far. So I think he may have a pretty solid chance at a roster spot. Later on in the game, it is still 10-0. I have changed around a lot of the receivers, but Ben Richardson is still in the game here for a first and 10 from the 27. Out of a shotgun set, he's going to hand this one to Hairston, who will cut back in and end up with about a 6-yard carry. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 4. He comes back in shotgun again. I believe that's Alex Zimmerman in at running back, and that's where we go with it. Zimmerman to the outside, gets some okay blocking, and sets up a 3rd and inches. So now it looks like Richardson will go under center. Zimmerman is still the running back here from the 17-yard line. And we'll give it to Zimmerman, who goes to the outside, gets the necessary blocking, and has the first down. On the very next play, we would go back to Zimmerman for just a 1-yard carry. So now it's a 2nd and 9 from the 14-yard line. And Richardson will look to pass, going over the middle. He finds his man, and that will set up a 3rd and 1. On that reception was number 85, which is our draft pick, Kamani Wallace. So now 3rd and 1 from the 6. Richardson under pressure, sacked, fumbles the ball, and luckily recovered by Zimmerman, so we should be able to at least kick a field goal. Not a very pretty play there for our quarterback, but we do get to settle for about a 35-yard attempt, and the kick is away, and Sam Haynes will drill this one. The backup defense would force a punt, so now we have a 3rd and 10 on our next drive with a minute 19 to go in the 3rd quarter. Possibly Richardson's last drive of the game. Under pressure, it's a screen to the outside, caught by Zimmerman. To the edge, he has the first down the sideline and forced out of the 49. So he manages to keep the final drive for himself alive, going deep over the middle, and that one is dropped by 85, which is Kamani Wallace. That brings up a 2nd and 10. From the 49-yard line, we come out in an I formation. Zimmerman is the running back, but he will look to pass going downfield. He has a man wide open, and Kamani Wallace will make up for it here. Touchdown, Toronto. And we are going to line up to go for 2 to try to make it a 21-0 game here. So he comes out as the only one in the backfield. Richardson will drop back to pass. It's a QB draw up the middle, and he is stopped just short. So we keep our 19-0 lead. The Raiders would end up scoring in garbage time, but your final score of this one is 19-7. So we officially have our first win as a franchise. It is in the preseason, so it doesn't really count, but it's still nice to see us get a win. The stats on this one for Ben Richardson, he goes 18 of 27 for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. Greg Britton only threw 2 passes today for 23 yards, and then running the ball, Zimmerman got 32 yards on 12 carries. No one really ran the ball well today. Alex Winston got 5.5 yards a carry. Dimitri Cox got an 8-yard carry. And then receiving, I guess Justin Shorter was our top one. Braden Willis had a pretty solid day. But Kamani Wallace, 2 for 57 and a long touchdown. And Tyler Andrews got his 2nd touchdown of the preseason. There ended up being a tie for the most tackles between Will Harris and Troy Pride. In sacks, we did get a couple today, one from Austin Acosta and one from Brian Brown, and we got the 1 interception we went over with Sean Chason. As of right now, their starting quarterback is Sam Darnold. He goes 10 of 16 for 93 yards and a pick. Gardner Minshew went 9 of 20 for 148 and a garbage time touchdown. Running the ball, we did a really good job of stopping that, and their best receiver was Bo Melton, 4 for 75, and Melvin Gordon got a touchdown. Melvin Gordon is still in the league somewhere. There are a couple more players to upgrade here, starting with outside linebacker Austin Acosta. He's going to go up to a 75 overall base, so we should see if he gets a superstar attribute, and he does not. But he does get +2 to man coverage, play rec, pursuit, and zone, but we know most likely he is just going to be a star depth trait. And then we have running back Keelan Wayne getting his 2nd upgrade point of the episode. We're going to put that into an elusive back. He goes up to a 66 overall and gets +1 to change of direction, juke move, and 3 to spin move. And we are now finally at the last preseason game of this year, and there are some receivers that really haven't even gotten a chance to show they can do anything. So you're probably going to see a little bit more of guys like Kyle Hanna, who was the really fast guy we signed as an undrafted free agent, and Matt Skandrick. The only time we've really seen him in this episode was the first kick return they actually did really good on. And the Colts would get the ball first and face a 3rd and 13, so a possible 3-and-out to kick things off for them as Richardson will drop back to pass going deep downfield, and we get an interception on the play. That is an undrafted free agent in Frank Ware, one of the guys we got that is a star dev trait from the free agents. So that leads to our Richardson taking the field at quarterback in Ben Richardson. From the 46-yard line, he'll start with a quick throw over the middle, caught for a gain of a few yards. And honestly, I can't even tell you who caught that pass, but they do get a 5-yard gain. So now on 2nd and 5, a quick throw over the middle is caught by 80, which is going to be Skandrick for the first down. On the next play, Keelan Wayne will get a 3-yard carry, so now it's a 2nd and 7. Richardson back in shotgun. We're going to go back to Wayne, this time up the middle, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 1. I made Zimmerman our starting running back in this game, but Keelan Wayne was our 3rd down back, and apparently we're only using those formations. So on 3rd down, he's going to find Skandrick for another first down. I don't think these receivers are going to make my decision easy after this game. 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. We'll take the snap and give that one to Hairston, who goes to the outside and is brought down for a 5-yard carry. I take that back. That is not Hairston. That is Alex Winston, our other backup running back. But now he's 2nd and 5 from the 9. A quick throw to the outside is caught by our tight end, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 5 for no gain. Unfortunately, it looked like our best offensive lineman, Leo Collins, was injured on that play. 3rd and 5. Richardson downfield. He'll find the tight end, Justin Shorter, for another first down. This time to set up a 1st and goal, and another offensive lineman is injured. That time it was our left tackle, Gerald Barclay. So now 1st and goal from the 2. It's a toss to the outside, and he is met and brought down in the backfield. That was Alex Winston, and he's going to get met at the 6. Now that sets up a 2nd and goal. He's going to line up from under center, drop back to pass, go to the end zone, and he finds his man. Touchdown, Toronto. That is Kyle Hanna, the super fast receiver that ran a 4.2 40 time. I would like to clarify, he did not run like a 4.2 flat. I think it was like a 4.29 or whatever, but either way, he's an incredibly fast receiver and gets his first touchdown. Our defense would force a punt on their next drive, and now we face a 3rd and 6 from the 41. Richardson will drop back to pass. He's going to go deep downfield. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown to Matt Skandrick. Like I said, these receivers are not going to make it easy for me, but the defense has allowed the Colts to drive downfield. 1st and goal from the 7. A quick toss and a quick pass into the end zone. Touchdown, Indianapolis. We are going to jump ahead a little bit later into the game. We are under 2 minutes to go in the half, but we are now tied at 14. So the Colts have come back, but this pass is going to be caught by Shorter, and he gets the first down. On the very next play, we would throw to Justin Shorter again for just a 3-yard pass, so now it's a 2nd and 7. And he's going to throw this one over the middle. That is caught for the first down, I believe, by Richter to set us up at the 21. And we would burn our first time out following that play. Now on the very next play, another quick throw caught by our tight end, Justin Shorter, who gets all the way down to the 10. And due to an injury, the Colts would have to take their first time out with 41 seconds to go in the half. Ben Richardson back in shotgun. Will drop back to pass. And he's going to throw this one to the outside. A jumping catch by Hanna, but he cannot hold on to it. That's going to bring up a 2nd and goal, and we bring 2 running backs into the backfield. We'll send Hanna in motion. He will drop back to pass. A quick throw is going to be caught, and he got leveled, but Skandrick held on to it as we burn our second timeout to bring up a 3rd and goal from the 5. With 32 seconds to go here in the first half. Richardson under center will drop back to pass. He's going to the end zone, and that's knocked around and will fall incomplete. So we should send out our kicker, Sam Haynes, for a very, very short field goal try, and he should be able to make this one no problem and give us a 3-point lead. Snap, hold, kick on the way, and it is good. We would start this half off with an interception in simulation by Ben Richardson, and the Colts immediately capitalized and got a touchdown. So now we're down by 4, but we face a 3rd and 4. Richardson going to go deep downfield. He finds Richter for the first down. Never mind, that's Kyle Hanna. These receivers I have not given much play time are definitely making an impact today, and there is another one, and that was a drop. So not a good impact that time. That was Skandrick on the drop, the guy who had the deep touchdown earlier. Now 2nd and 10. From the 34-yard line, he will drop back to pass. He's going to go to the outside. That's a diving deflection. Tried to fit that one into Hanna, and now we face a 3rd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Ben Richardson will line up in shotgun. See if he can convert on this play. It will be a play fake to the running back. Now under pressure, gets rid of it deep downfield and gets intercepted. Trying to force that one into the end zone, I think, to Richter. And the guy's brought down to the 13. Thankfully for Toronto, though, the defense would force a punt in simulation. But now we face a 3rd and 5. And this is going to be Richardson's final drive of the preseason. He's going to keep it alive to Kyle Hanna for the first down all the way to the 32. Now we'll come out under center. It looks like Alex Winston's in the backfield, but he will still be looking to pass. Going downfield, and he once again finds Hanna for the first down. And I would like to remind you, these are still the Colts starting defensive backs, so Kyle Hanna's having an incredible day. 1st and 10 from the 20. And it's going to be a handoff to Winston up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of just a few yards. About 30 seconds to go here in the third quarter now. A 2nd and 6 from the 16. Richardson's back in shotgun, will take the snap, and that's going to be Keelan Wayne who goes up the middle and is brought down to set up a 3rd and 5. Now a shotgun set from 3rd down as the 3rd quarter winds down, and we are not going to take the snap, which means we're going to have to go in and manually put Richardson back in the game. Or it is not going to let me right now, so I guess that will be the end of Ben Richardson's preseason, as now our backup quarterback comes in the game for a 3rd down, and he's going to run the play fake, and Britton looking to pass. He's going to take off and get hit on the play, 4th and 7. Following that, I have now gotten to throw Ben Richardson back in the game, so he gets to come in on this 4th down to try to keep this hope alive. Richardson throwing to the outside and nearly gets intercepted. That's a turnover on downs. In fact, you know what? That is not going to be his final drive of the game. We're going to leave him in with 7:45 to go. It's still a 4-point game. Going downfield, he finds Matt Skandrick again, and he is gone. Touchdown, Toronto. You know, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Matt Skandrick has made a spot on this team for himself. He had a really, really good kick return, and now 2 just deep touchdowns. This one to give us the lead. So yeah, Ben Richardson's just playing this entire game. Now a 3rd and 3 on our next drive. Need to chew away at the clock here. We'll take the snap and hand off up the middle. That is Zimmerman for the 1st down, keeping this drive alive. The very next play would be a 7-yard pass. So now it's a 2nd and 3. Indy still has all 3 timeouts though. Richardson from under center will hand this one to Keelan Wayne, who will get the 1st down and inside the 20. That would take us down to the 2-minute warning. So now they'll have to start burning their timeouts. We give this one to Zimmerman up the middle, and on the first carry after the 2-minute warning, we get a 6-yard run. A 1st down would essentially end this game. 1:55 to go, a 2nd and 4. Indy has 2 timeouts remaining. We go back to the outside, and that's going to get met and brought down to set up a 3rd and 2 as they burn their 2nd timeout. 1:51 to play. In a shotgun set, what does Richardson do here? He will be looking to pass. A quick throw will be dropped, and now they get to save a timeout. We should kick a field goal to make this a 6-point game, but it will now be up to our backup defense against their backup quarterback, and I honestly have no idea who that is. But we'll see what kind of kick return they get to see what kind of field position they will start this drive with. They will field this at about the 3-yard line. Brings it up across the 25 and will be met and brought down about the 28. And I still have no idea who this backup quarterback is. 1st and 10. He will be looking to pass, though. Dropping farther back under pressure and getting sacked on the play. That quarterback is, in fact, P.J. Walker, but now 2nd and 14. A quick throw over the middle will fall incomplete, stopping the clock at 1:15 to play. So P.J. Walker back in a shotgun set. On a 3rd and 14, he will drop back to pass. Under pressure, a quick throw to the outside, caught by his tight end, and that will set up a 4th and 4. And the clock is going to continue to run. They do not burn that final timeout just yet. Walker will drop back to pass. He steps up in the pocket. He may try to take off, and he will. He has the 1st down. He fumbles the ball, though, but the Colts have recovered it. So now they will burn that final timeout with 43 seconds to go. That was Toronto's chance to end the game right there. P.J. Walker will drop back to pass on the next play. And he's going over the middle, finds his man for a gain of about 8 yards. Now a 2nd and 2 with about 25 seconds to go in the game. Walker driving back to pass again. Another quick throw over the middle. We will take those right now because they need to get into the end zone. And they're going to have to run to the line. One more play. 3 seconds to go. Walker will drop back to pass. He's rolling to the outside. And he may try to take off. Running along the line of scrimmage. And finally will just take off and get nowhere near it. The Toronto Thunderbirds will finish the preseason 2-1. Which was definitely not what I was expecting. This was a really good game from our quarterback, Ben Richardson, aside from a couple interceptions. I obviously kept him in the game the entire time, aside from the one play where I couldn't back out of the simulation, and the backup came in to get sacked. But Richardson goes 29 of 44 for 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. On the ground, no one really had a spectacular day. Zimmerman did get 6.6 yards a carry, though. And then receiving, Kyle had a 9 for 90, but Matt Skandrick, 6 for 160 and 2 touchdowns. 100% you have earned a spot on this team because that is an incredible performance. Safety Caden Stearns leads the team in tackles today with a total of 6, and we got a couple sacks, 1 from Brian Brown, 1 from Marcus Harris, and we got 1 interception from Frank Ware right there at the beginning of the game. The problem we did have, though, is Anthony Richardson sort of carved our defense apart. 13 for 15, 140 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Did throw that 1 interception as we just covered, though, and Jonathan Taylor got 4.1 yards a carry. Their best receiver was Josh Downs, 6 for 77 and 2 scores, and Michael Pittman also got a score. Before we get into cuts, we do have a team meeting room scenario here, and let's see what this is all about. This morning I want to talk to you about our team culture. Not real sure what our team culture is. What culture do you want us to embrace? Physical, playing with toughness, explosive, making splash plays, disciplined, mistake-free football. How about disciplined, mistake-free football? We are not a highly rated team, so we're not going to be able to make a ton of mistakes. Your players will receive +3 boosts for the entire season in pursuit and play rec on defense and carrying on offense. And then we have another scenario, but I don't know why our offensive coordinator Nathaniel Douglas is talking to me about our defensive position battle, but yeah, I'm going to say Harris won it, so he gets to be the starting safety. Stearns has earned +3 to play rec, tackle, and pursuit for the next 3 games, and the entire team has earned +5 to morale. But now it is time to cut some of that morale down because we have to get rid of 22 players, and I know immediately where I'm going first. It is going to be the offensive line, where we're going to be moving a lot of guys over to the practice squad. Just the lowest rated guy at each of the offensive line spots is going over to the practice squad, just because I want them to develop a little bit more, and it clears out 5 roster spots because I signed 3 at every single position. I like to take 10 offensive linemen into the season, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I am not going to even worry about moving quarterback Greg Britton over to the practice squad. We are just going to be releasing him. I'm going to see if I can bring in another mentor backup quarterback because I want to know if I can stack the mentor XP boost every single week, and I don't think Greg Britton really has any sort of future in the NFL. And I don't really want to take 4 running backs into the regular season, so we are going to be moving Caleb Hairston down to our practice squad just because I feel like that's the best move to make. However, it is now time to trim down some of this receiver room, and obviously there were some really good plays made, and I want to keep Allen Robinson because he does have the mentor player tag, about the only reason I'm going to be keeping him. David Lindley, a 69 overall with 90 speed, 77 catching, we'll keep him for now. Colin Johnson, you are not going to be making the team though. And I still want some room over on the practice squad, so BJ Richter, you're not getting to go to the practice squad, you were just straight up getting released. One of the only things I'm concerned with is I don't see Marion McMillan here, and I'm wondering if it's because I have a lot of receivers on the depth chart. The guy that has a star depth trait should still be here, and I want him to make the team, so I'm probably going to have to make a few more moves at receiver, but I will end up coming back to receiver. Moving over to tight end, Brandon Wilbon will be getting cut because he's only a 58 overall, probably not much future. I told you guys at the start of the video, Isaac Rochelle will probably not make the team, or I didn't know if he would make the team, and he will not be making this team. The same exact thing with Devontae Bond. I told you at the start of the episode I wasn't sure if he was going to make it, and he will not be making it. The next player getting cut is going to be outside linebacker Taj Poole, a 59 overall. I really don't think I can develop him into anything, and these 2 guys will be our main outside linebackers anyway. If these 2 guys both go down, I'll have to make some moves at outside linebacker, but I'm not concerned about keeping Poole. There are several moves I'm going to have to make at corner, and we're going to start with Josh Hatchett, who will be going down to the practice squad. And the same exact thing is happening to defensive back Justin Venable. And I know that Zach McPherson had an interception in the preseason, but that 66-man coverage in that 67 zone is just too low to really compete with anyone else here. At least this guy has a star dev trait. Shaq Wolf only has a 59-man coverage, but a star dev trait. So for right now, Zach McPherson is not going to make this team. Next up is going to be free safety Chris Jones, only a 59 overall. You are getting cut. Now, I did say that Will Harris will be the starter to our defensive coordinator. Actually, I said it to our offensive coordinator, which is still weirding me out. But Trent Stockton will be going down to the practice squad. I told you guys I was going to circle back around to receiver, and I am going to do that here. Wide receiver David Lindley. He really didn't do anything in the preseason. He was given a few opportunities. I put him in as our number 1, number 2, and number 3 receivers, and I feel like I never really called his name, so we're going to move him down to the practice squad for now. Oh, and this would be why Marion McMillan is not on that list, because he is in the injury report along with Braden Willis, so I can't cut either one of these guys. But Tyquan Thornton, you're still going to be out another couple weeks. For right now, I'm going to put him on IR. I think I should be able to pull him off at some point this season because he's still a decently rated receiver, and we really didn't get to see him at all in the preseason. But should it come down to it and I can't take Tyquan Thornton off of our injured reserve, that is fine. But the next move we're going to make is outside linebacker Randy Ferguson. You will be getting moved over to the practice squad. And for the very final move, defensive end George Pritchett will also be going down to the practice squad. I said it earlier, but I don't really know if I can actually stack the XP boost having 2 mentor quarterbacks, but I'm definitely going to try because we're going to sign Taylor Heineke. And to make room for Heineke, we are going to be cutting our undrafted defensive tackle, Devontae Browning. I'm not going to lie to you guys, though, at the start of the season here, there is at least one interesting free agent in Rico Dowdle, but he is an 80 overall. I'm surprised he is a free agent. He has some really solid ratings, but because of that rule that I stated where I'm not going to sign anyone above a 70 overall, that's exactly what I'm going to do here and not sign Rico Dowdle. I just thought it was interesting that he is here. But that is finally going to wrap up the first episode of the Toronto Thunderbirds, and the next episode we will get to kick off our first ever season as we host the Los Angeles Rams.